Hey guys, welcome to the channel. My name is Cheryl Miller, and in these interviews, I'm bringing you success stories of people who have broken the mold and followed their own path instead of being limited by what others expected them to be based on their race, gender, or any other stereotype. When we internalize negative stereotypes, it affects our performance. So the people in these interviews have proven what you can achieve when you have a winning mindset. These stories are here to inspire you. So if you want to hear more, please like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss out. Okay, so my first guest is Cas Majid, who is one of Birmingham's most prominent entrepreneurs. He is the CEO of the WOW group of companies, which includes full service digital and e-commerce marketing. He's also heavily involved in local charities and community interest companies. So welcome along, Cas.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Cheryl. How are you?
Thank you for joining me. I know it's strange circumstances, and I'm loving the background. So where is that, Cas? Where are you joining us from today?
I think I'd like to, well, I'm in Birmingham, but I think that's like kind of Costa del Miami or something.
Okay, cool. Very cool. Now, as I was saying, you were kind of the inspiration for this series of interviews, and I'll tell you why. Obviously, the last time we saw each other was last year at that men's roundtable event at Birmingham City Uni, and it was when there was a conversation around what the impact of a lack of role models does and has, and how it impacts on individuals. And I remember you talking about your upbringing, which is something that we'll get into, and we were talking about how it feels when you're, say, like, you know, the only one, say, of colour in your school, and there was something that you said that stuck with me. So just tell me about that in terms of, you know, when you were at school, how many were there like you?
Not many. Taking me back now. It's a long, long time ago. But yeah, so I mean, I grew up in a place, in a very small little village in Yorkshire. I stayed there for 18 years, and then I moved to Manchester to the big city. But so where I grew up was it was a woolen town mill.
Mm-hmm.
Lovely area in West Yorkshire, a little place called Liversidge. No one's ever heard of it. Yeah, I mean, you know, my father came to this country, and he came a bit later. He came in the late end of 60s, so around about 1969.
Yeah.
But he was, I mean, we were quite fortunate in that situation because my mum and dad were quite educated when they came over.
Yeah.
So my dad was an officer in the Air Force, and my mum was a teacher. So I suppose they always wanted the best for us as children, you know, and good education, etc. But yeah, we were kind of the only Asians in the village, really. And my dad took a job in a woolen factory, and he started as a labourer, but that didn't really fit him. So he went, and what was known then, he became the personnel director, which is the HR department.
Yeah.
So it was all about people. So he was always recruiting people from the subcontinent into job roles. So obviously we became quite well known and quite well respected within the community, which had its added pressures, really, because I was the son of Mr. Majid and I couldn't do no wrong.
Yeah.
And I was the youngest of the family, so I was a bit of a black sheep as well. So yeah, and the school that I went to, yeah. So I had a brother and two brothers and a sister. They were all obviously older than me, and we all went to school together. There's 6 years difference between myself and my next brother, but probably was an accident. But yeah, so I went to school, and I was a model student. I was really good. I was really good at school. Kind of didn't do anything wrong. Always good. Just loved sports and got on with my work and my homework and all that kind of stuff. And I think it probably was, my parents that instilled that into us. But I was one of probably 3, maximum 4 Asians in that school.
And how did that feel? Do you, do you feel that impacted on your, you know, your ability to perform, you know, sort of like academically or in terms of getting on? How did you, you know, is it something that played on your mind or did it not at all?
Um, Looking back on it, some of the things that was said to me, you think, well, bloody hell, you wouldn't get away with saying that right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does have an impact on you. Particularly my eldest brother. It was the middle of skinhead period. You had people walking around in Doc Martens and going around bashing people of colour.
Yeah.
So for him, it's slightly different scenario because he had to fight his way through school.
Right.
And that kind of paved the way for me for it to be better for me because I was the brother of my eldest brother.
Yeah.
So that kind of had a little bit of protection. But yeah, it did have an impact. It did have an impact, and some of the things that that you'd hear, particularly from your friends, you treated slightly different. You treat slightly different. However, the teachers were amazing,
Good.
absolutely fantastic. And I'm still in touch with my form teacher, and she was at a dinner a couple of years ago, with the Chamber of Commerce that I'm involved in. I invited her over as one of my VIP guests, and she's always in touch with me, and she had such an influence on my life. Mrs. McDonald, she's called, and
Wow.
and Mr. Wintersgill, who was my geography teacher. Very strict, but brilliant teachers.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the questions that I had really, was, when you were younger, were there those, who were the influences in your life, or what were the interactions that have had, a positive impact on you that you can almost like pinpoint back and say, do you know what, that made a really big difference to me?
Well, as you go through life, you pick up these people that kind of mentor you, and kind of they have a huge influence on you, and that's both negative
Yeah.
and positive as well, because but obviously my parents have had a huge impact on my life. And one of the things they always, and I still remember it to this day, is they always used to say to me, outside of your parents, your teachers are your next mentors. They're actually, because when you're not at home, they're acting as your parents, and you see the good teachers now, they kind of behave and act like that.
Yeah.
So, and then obviously we're at school. They had a massive, they had a massive impact on me. My sister had a huge impact on me. She's no longer with us, so she passed away quite a few number of years ago, quite tragically, but huge impact in terms of standing up for what's right, and doing what's right, and kind of. I got bullied in my primary school. I got bullied a lot.
Right.
And she just taught me how to push back to that.
Yeah.
So I remember getting bullied in the playground when I was in primary school, and I was getting all kinds of stuff, spat and poo thrown on me and all that kind of stuff, because I was the only Asian.
Yeah.
And she was walking past the big school, and she kind of gave me a good hiding.
Yeah.
And it never happened to me again at that school, but
Yeah.
it happened to me at bigger school as well, where you'd have the fifth formers. I don't know what it is in new money now.
Yeah.
The kids tell me what it is, year 11 or something.
Year 11s, yeah.
Yeah, I think it is, yeah. These skinheads, with big Doc Martens walking around, and, I remember one incident quite distinctly where I was talking to a friend of mine, and we were kind of sat on the field, and there was a fifth former behind me, and I was just saying, look, a lot of these fifth formers, they're quite aggressive, and the next thing I know, a big Doc Marten on my chest, wow. saying, what did you say, you P word,
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So yeah, but so yeah, I would say, my parents, my teachers, and my family members have always kind of been a big influence on me. My father's been a huge influence on me.
Right. Yeah.
I think that's so important.
Yeah, and thinking about when you were young, then when you were really sort of young, what did you want to do when you grew up? What did you want to be when you grew up? So when you were younger, where were you thinking you were heading?
Well, I think obviously when you're young, you have all these like kind of dreams and aspirations of where you want to be and what you want to do and all that kind of stuff. And I guess I think when my father finished his work, he went into business with my brother, and they opened up in the 80s. They bought franchises in petrol stations, and we were the first people to do 24 hours because petrol stations used to shut at 10 o'clock. Yeah, and you used to have 2-star, 3-star, and 4-star.
Yeah.
So I used to help my dad in the petrol station when he went 24 hours.
Yeah.
So I used to have a sleeping bag and sleep in the back. And
Gosh.
I suppose for me, it was always I wanted to do something around business.
Yeah.
But actually, I didn't really know what I wanted until later on in life.
Yeah.
I knew there was this thing in the background. I wanted to do something for myself, but I just kind of, went to uni, didn't do so well, and kind of bumbled my way into a career into IT, and then thought I'll start a business, and and I've had a lot of setbacks and failures and all that kind of stuff, but it's just made me more and more resilient.
Yeah, exactly. Well, tell us what did you do at uni? So you moved to Manchester for uni, is that right? Yeah. What did you do at uni?
I took so my sister passed away in 1988. So I went to so right in the middle of the start of my A levels. So that had a big impact on me.
Yeah.
The first year I did my A levels, I flunked them.
Okay.
And then I did them again, and then managed to scrape through. And I just took the first course that took me because my mum was grieving, and I just needed to get out of the house because it wasn't a nice place to be in. And as a family, we didn't grieve in the right way if you're not together. Everyone was kind of doing their own thing.
Yeah, just trying
that had a big impact on me. Yeah, had a big impact on me, and so I need to get out of the house, and I need to just kind of get out of the house. And I went off the rails.
Okay.
I went off the rails. I got into a really bad crowd, and a lot of my friends, that I've grown up with, and they were kind of the other side of society, and I could have quite easily have done that had I not met my wife.
Right.
She's kind of my kind of
sort of dragged you back from the other side.
Yeah, she did, and I kind of got into that because I've seen both sides of life, and I've got friends from all walks of life, and they are dear friends to me. It's just that they've chosen to do one thing, some have chosen to do another thing, but they'll always be there for me, and they'll always kind of stand up and be there when I need them.
Yeah.
And from any, from I've got friends that are highly educated to friends that are highly educated and do stuff that you shouldn't do.
Yeah.
And so I got caught up in what I would say the inverted commas, the glamour of it. It's quite a so kind of it gives me a good perspective on life and a good understanding of where people are coming from.
Yeah,
I think that kind of hones into your skills as a person, really. Yeah. So I understand both sides of it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So at uni, is that where you met your wife at uni?
I did, yeah. Yeah, we met in the gym. Well, he was at the gym and I was doing nothing, but yeah. So we met there.
Scoping out the girls in the gym.
Yeah, I was actually, yeah. And I knew straight away I was going to marry her.
Really?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
That's so cool. And how? What were you studying at uni? What?
Computer science.
Computer science. Okay, so that's when your IT thing started.
The world then, kind of, and it was the first course that took me, and I didn't enjoy any of it.
Right. And what was it back in the day? Not that we're that old, Cas.
Yeah, no, it is old. It's quite old.
Was it sort of programming, coding, and stuff like that? Is that what
it was? Yeah. It was just right at the embryonic stage of the internet.
Yeah.
I'm talking 1992, 93. And you had it was Netscape. So Google wasn't even around.
Yeah.
There was a thing called Netscape, and you could kind of do stuff and my friend and I, what we used to do is, because we were the kind of the thick people on the course, what we used to do was all the clever people used to write the code for the assignments, and part of it didn't work, and you used to screw it up and throw it in the bin. So we used to get it out of the bin and kind of change it. So you had to do 20% of the work.
Okay, I think that's called like scraping by, isn't it? You know, whatever means you need to get by, I think.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, so we used to. I always say I probably copied my way through uni.
And you
Yeah.
said you didn't do that well, sort of coming out. So what did you get? Did you get 2-2?
2-1.
2-1. That's not bad. That's good.
Yeah, yeah. Put my mind to it. Yeah, when I put my mind to it, I can do it. Yeah, but at school I was a model student. I was head boy. I was the first Asian to be head boy. Amongst many
Yeah.
obviously white people,
Yeah.
because it's predominantly white, and it still is a predominantly white area that I grew up in. So yeah, and then just kind of I just lost my way. I just
Yeah.
lost my way.
Yeah. So
Uh,
so interesting this. You talked about how sort of meeting your wife helped you sort of get back on track.
yeah.
What was it about her, or about the way, that she was living a life, or what was the impact that she had on you then? Because that's quite a young age. So what
I'll
was
be
it?
quite open and candid about it because I wanted to do that, and I think it's
Yeah.
important. I got arrested.
Right. Okay.
I got arrested for getting into trouble.
Right.
And at the time, because I didn't know what I wanted,
Yeah.
I put an application in to join the police.
Okay.
I didn't have a clue.
Yeah.
So I put an application in, and they kind of somehow I got off. Somehow they were like, we sorted it out. Gone.
Right.
So I was 24 hours in a cell,
Oh gosh. Okay.
and I was like, and my wife was like, "You need to sort this thing out now."
Right.
So yeah, kind of. But I've always known in the back of my, I've done probably everything in life.
Yeah.
A lot of things in a very short space of time.
Yeah.
I've probably done it to excess and then kind of moved on. It's
Yeah.
gone out of my system and then moved on. But I've always known, I think, it's probably that value set that your parents give as you grow up. You think, well,
Yeah.
actually, it's time to kind of do what
Yeah.
right, if you know
Yeah.
what I
You
mean.
always remember, don't you? Like those morals and things that you taught you. Always go
Yeah.
back to them. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I got banged up in Moss Side.
In my side. So that was your wake up call.
Kind of, yeah. Yeah, it was. It
Yeah.
was. Yeah.
So once you graduated, then tell me about your first job out of uni. What did you do when you first graduated?
My first job out of uni, what I wanted to do was get as far away as possible from computers.
Okay.
So I spent the first job I got was in finance, to be a
Right.
finance broker.
Okay.
And I
Yeah.
spent 3.5, 4 years doing that, and that was a commission-only sales role.
Yeah.
And really helped me cut my teeth in selling and referrals. And some of that stuff that I learned then still is
Yeah.
with me today, of how
Yeah.
you generate referrals from people, and kind of it's slightly different now. It was a bit more forced then,
Yeah.
but now it's part of the DNA thing, and that's why I think I took to social media like a duck to water, because social media is all about know, like, and trust kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why it kind of fits really well with some of the stuff that I post out on a regular basis about giving value and helping others and all that kind of stuff. But whereas before you'd go in and do an appointment with someone and you'd ask them to open up their diary after you've done a good job and say, who else do you know that I can speak to? And then you pick up the phone to them or get an introduction to the family member or whoever, and kind of that's how you built your business.
Yeah.
And my mentor then, very successful businessman, he taught me how to do that.
Yeah. I mean, those are some really good skills that I know, a lot of new business startups are often missing those key sort of skills, aren't they, around sales, referrals, giving value, etc., before you expect necessarily the sale to come back to you. Yeah.
It certainly is, and I mean, like I said, it's a bit more forced then.
Yeah.
Now it just becomes more kind of, as you get older, it becomes more kind of consultative, and it kind of comes back to you. And I'm a great believer in, done a lot of talks and videos about it, about the law of reciprocity. What
Right.
you give out comes back to you,
Yeah.
and it's without intent.
Yeah.
And I learned that as well from my dad. You know, what you put out comes back to you. And
Yeah.
my dad always used to say to me, you know, you're the average of the. Well, he used to say, be careful of the company that you keep.
Yeah.
And he say it in our language, and it's really important. But I suppose now it's that whole thing of, you know, you're the average of the 5 people that you hang around with.
Yeah.
And actually, going through my life, I was the average of the 5 people that I hung around with.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, you hear a lot of people say that, you know, especially if you're on the track to where you're trying to, you know, improve yourself. Have you found it difficult to either change, you know, your circle of friends, or to, you know, to make sure that you are sort of like keeping company, if I use those terms, with the right people? You know, have you found that struggle at all?
Um, yeah, I have. Not in terms of shifting it.
Yeah,
Um, it's in terms of sometimes having imposter syndrome.
right.
We all have it.
Yeah,
Everyone experiences it. I don't care what type of person you are, what
yeah,
your experiences it. You know, am I good enough? Should I be next? You know, you kind of doubt yourself, but then the people around you, they kind of inspire you, motivate you to drive on and do better.
mm,
And I think it's so important. You know, one of the things I always talk about is, you know, I'm into hip hop, so, you know, check yourself before you wreck yourself. You know, it's important, isn't it? It's so deep. It's so deep.
straight out Compton. Right, okay. Never had
So
it down for a hip hop guy, Kaz, but
yeah, no, I'm really into my hip hop and my dub reggae. So every year I go to every year I'm in at Notting Hill. So yeah. But
yeah,
yeah, so, you know, it's important, isn't it? Those
yeah,
lines of, you know, check yourself before you wreck yourself is mindful of your thoughts and how you put them out, and it's a learning process, isn't it? You're always kind of looking to improve, and you know, now it's very much, you know, I'll think about my mindset and how important it is to
yeah,
improve it.
yeah, yeah,
You know, if you know, it's I think Jim Rowan said, you know, if you don't like where you are, you know, move. You're not a tree.
yeah,
You
exactly,
know,
exactly.
so I'm always kind of constantly trying
Yeah,
to do that. So it's, yeah, at times it's been difficult, um, because of peer pressure and all that kind of stuff. But actually, as you practice, it becomes easier and easier.
yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me about, how did you get from being a finance broker? So how did you get from that to then starting your own business?
Well, because it was commission only,
Hmm.
I then went into on an IT. I went to an IT company. It
Hmm.
was a training company. This was in 1999,
Yeah.
and it was the world's largest IT training company. So this is when Microsoft started launching their Microsoft certified courses, and we used to sell those
Okay.
courses.
Right.
And then whilst I was there, I was account managing a company,
Yeah.
and the chap that used to run that, he was based in Manchester, and he left, and then he popped up in Birmingham. He says, "I'm setting this company up in Birmingham. Can you come and work with us?"
Hmm.
I did that in 2002. Um, Left a really good career, a good job,
Yeah.
and my wife was pregnant at the time,
Gosh,
and
very brave.
it was massive risk, and didn't work.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's good, isn't it? Because we need to, you know, because
Didn't work.
we often have these very romantic visions, don't we, of running companies? You know, you see the films and stuff, and literally overnight success. Do you know what I mean? But the reality is, it's a lot tougher, isn't it?
It didn't work at all. Cheryl, it didn't work because, you know, and my wife was still living in Manchester because she was working there. So I was travelling back on a weekend, and she was pregnant. So whilst she was pregnant, I wasn't there.
Yeah.
But eventually, she moved, and then and the other thing, I suppose I've been very fortunate in
Mm.
that I've landed on my feet sometimes, you know, and then kind of there was this other couple of guys, they were setting up, they were helping us set up this original company, and they'd been really successful in software, and
Yeah.
just like come across and do some stuff there, and then kind of I went into that, and and then it kind of just started from there. I was a sales director and kind of took part of the database, and because they went off and did something else, and it's just been kind of a real roller coaster. It's never been smooth.
Right. Yeah. It's often not a straight road, is it? Really?
Never.
Yeah,
It never is. It
yeah.
never is.
Yeah.
It's so many mistakes. It's so many planners wasted so much money. You know, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
You know, you think, yeah. No, but there's been so many scenarios
I can imagine.
through that journey. It's just unbelievable. You know?
I can imagine. We'll get into that. We'll get into like some of the learnings and stuff. So in terms of what you're doing currently, so I mentioned that you're running like your IT businesses, and as well you are obviously president of the Asian Chamber of Commerce. How long have you been doing that now? Is that just over 2 years?
So I was on the board originally from about 2006 to 2010.
Okay.
And then I left, and then because we were doing some projects over in Dubai and stuff, so I spent a lot of time backwards and forwards from there. And then that kind of came to an end in 2013. I decided I need to go back, kind of reintegrate myself into networking.
Yeah.
By the way, the first thing I did when I came to Birmingham was set up a business. So I joined BNI.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
In 2002, and I stayed a member until 2000. And about 12, 13.
Right. Yeah. Interesting.
But it helped me develop as a person.
Yeah.
And kind of reinforce. Yeah, it did. Yeah.
Yeah. Brilliant.
You know, some people, have their opinions about it, but actually, really kind of give me a real foundation. So, I'd say take networking for what it is, and some people forget. I'll come on to that question in a second. Some people forget where the source started from.
Yeah.
Because we think, well, that didn't work for me, or that didn't, say, well, actually, let's just kind of track back of where you've come from.
Yeah.
You met someone at this particular event. You did have a conversation that opened up and that's why you're here right now.
Yeah.
So sometimes people forget what's at the end of the nose.
Yeah, and the power of networking it is massive. It's massive.
Huge, and that's why. If you look at the ladder and you go through kind of the different levels of business, it is really one step leads to another, and it's been a big part of my success and many other people's success.
Yeah,
one door opens another, So, so in terms of my role in the chamber, So, and then I went back in 2013. They asked me to join the board. I did. Went through the interview process as everyone else does, and then I was on the board for 2 years, and then I became vice president and president. So I've been president for 2 years now. And it's I know it's a bit cliche. It's about giving back and all that kind of stuff, and it is, but it's really that's the kind of forefront of it.
Yeah.
Also, you get to develop, and you get to really understand governance. You get to understand how things work in the city of Birmingham, how decisions get made, how committees work, how procedure works, and it's really good for your personal development as well. I get a lot out of it.
Yeah. And what does that role entail? So what's the objective? So for people that don't know about the Asian Chamber of Commerce, what is the objective? What is it there to achieve?
Okay, so the Asian Business Chamber of Commerce was set up in 1987 off the back of the Handsworth riots. It was called the Institute of Asian Businesses.
Right.
Business owners came together because they wanted a voice and some protection. If anything happens, because they had issues and concerns, and they went to the Chamber of Commerce, and then they integrated it into the Chamber of Commerce. So obviously, the concerns and business issues back then are completely different to the business issues right now. But essentially, it's no different to the Greater Birmingham Chamber of Commerce in terms of, because we're part of the Greater Birmingham Chamber of Commerce, the division of that. And it's really to connect, support, and grow business. And so, we have many, many events that go on across the chamber, over 200. The ABCC have, they have Eid, Diwali, Vaisakhi, and we have a big dinner as well. And then we have patrons dinners in between. It's It's really about connecting businesses together
Yeah.
to really kind of forge relationships and grow their businesses.
Yeah.
And the ethos is connect, support, and grow.
Yeah.
And that's what we're here to do, to give a voice to the Asian business community and the wider business community, and also to provide a gateway to some of the larger businesses who want to access the ethnic minority businesses. But currently, we launched 2 years ago our diversity and inclusion pledge,
Okay.
which was about, and it's the only one that's independent and provides tangible outputs off the back of it. So it's not just a pledge you sign and stick it in the drawer.
Yeah.
You know, we provide training, consultancy, and workshops off the back of it for corporate businesses.
Yeah.
Incorporate kind of diversity inclusion. And the first bit that we're focusing on, that we have been focusing on, is bringing through women of colour into senior management positions, and how organisations go about doing that and attracting them to do that, particularly from within their organisation. So we're helping them to do that and identify the areas that they need to be working on. And now, you know, recently, the things that we are tackling is people talk about the pay gap, you know, the gender pay gap. Well, there's an ethnicity pay gap as well. And it's kind of, you know, addressing those elephants in the room to say, this is happening. And by talking about it and by bringing it to the table, that then builds awareness. And people start thinking, well, actually, we need to do something about it. And it is happening, and it is there, and we need to be kind of talking about it more.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I mean, I think it's really interesting that certainly I would say the Asian business community is, you know, is one that I think, you know, a lot of other, I would say certainly in the UK, a lot of other ethnicities, and I'm thinking certainly the kind of like black, if I say black Caribbean more so than the black African sort of backgrounds, I think almost like look at the Asian business communities in terms of what you do, like supporting each other, and as you say, you know, driving those agendas forward. And we're almost, well, we're quite envious, I think, to be honest, of kind of what you've achieved in that space. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, and you know, I can understand that, and I have many conversations with, you know, people from the black and maybe Afro-Caribbean type of background, and there's some very entrepreneurial people in that community as well. I think they'd be probably more role models. Some really big business people in Birmingham that do, you know, they're in the food sector, they're in finance, you know, and, you know. So I sit on the board of Ronald McDonald Charities, you know. One of the biggest business people in Birmingham is Tony Sealing. You know, he owns a lot of McDonald's franchises, and he launched the 3Bs back in early 2000s, which was a black business in Birmingham. It was a great initiative, similar to the Asian Business Chamber of Commerce. It was all about helping and supporting, you know, black businesses and bringing their voice to the fore. So, you know, I think things are changing quite a lot in the community. You know, people are getting, you know, education's important. And you know, it's changing because Birmingham is a very colourful city, isn't it? It's a kaleidoscope of different backgrounds.
It is. And I always like to think, I mean, obviously Birmingham is the second city. I know Manchester sometimes tries to claim it, but we are still the second city, really. Although I know you probably sit between Manchester and Birmingham, to be fair.
Well, you know, you never ever go to Manchester and they say they're the second city. I've lived there.
Okay.
Never.
So obviously it's just Brummies that have got chip being overtaken.
It was quite the first thing I noticed when I came here, we're the second city. In Manchester, they don't say it, they say we're Manchester. Like, you
That's
know,
interesting, isn't it?
It is. It's a completely different mindset. It really is.
Exactly.
I've done work in Leeds. I've done work in, because I'm originally from Yorkshire, and then Manchester, London, and Birmingham. There's a different mindset.
With Birmingham.
A completely different mindset in all those different cities. But you know, I think we should stop saying that we're the second city. To me, second place is first loser.
Second. Let's get into mindset then, because I mean, I see a lot of your stuff on social media, which I find, really interesting. You're really interesting to talk to. And I want to I want to start with morning routine. And that's something that we were talking about just before we got on, actually. So tends to be a very common trait for successful people is that they have quite a strong morning routine. So what does your typical morning routine consist of? How do you start the day?
Well, I try to go for a run in the morning. That doesn't happen every morning.
Yeah.
But at least twice or three times a week.
Yeah.
And then on my run, it's really good opportunity for me to get rid of negative feelings.
Okay.
Because I'm like every other person. If I say talk about beating your brain, or don't give it time to think. The moment I start thinking, I start procrastinating, because I'm a big procrastinator.
Okay.
Yeah, I've realised that over the years. I procrastinate a lot.
Yeah.
So it really helps me get into the mindset of, right, we need to do something.
Right.
And it dissipates all my negative feelings.
Right.
But whilst I'm on my run, I'll then take a little break, 5-10 minute break, and I get lots of kind of showers of thoughts coming through my head.
Yeah.
Positivity or whatever, and then I kind of share them on a video, because that's how I'm feeling at the time.
Right. So you're out and you're running, and then you literally pause just to like record on your like iPhone or whatever.
And then a certain place.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'll probably early on in my run, quite hard.
Yeah.
Because I need to get into the rhythm.
Yeah.
Starting is always the hardest, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's always the simple things that are the hardest thing to do. The obvious things are always the hardest thing to do. They kind of put them to the kind of the back of the queue.
Yeah.
So now I've got into the habit of doing the simple things first.
Okay.
So, and I always write a list.
Okay.
Put a video out just the other day. Someone sent it to me many years ago. A guy called Steve Lane, good friend of mine. He's a business coach. He used to help me. And he said every day write a list and cross it off.
Right.
Because it gets it out your head on paper. Yeah. And it just works. Yeah. So I've got my book in front of me now. I always carry a journal.
Okay. Yeah.
And I just write a list every day, and I have it in front of me, and I just cross it off, and it's kind of really nice way to finish the day. And if I don't cross it off, I just put it onto the next day.
Okay.
So you're on my list, and then I'll just cross it off. That's done now. It's completed.
Yeah.
So I have that routine, and then slightly changed from home because I tend to be sat at my table here a lot longer.
Right.
But the moment I feel a little bit kind of, I need to stand up and go and do something, I'll go take a walk outside.
Yeah.
Get some fresh air and come back to it. But I'm finding I'm far more productive at the moment.
Yeah.
And then by probably about 7 or 8 o'clock, I'll put it down.
Right.
Laptop down and kind of have some dinner with the family.
Yeah.
Lockdown has been brilliant because I'm having dinner with family every evening.
Yeah.
Normally my wife rings me up and says, "Are you going to have something to eat at home?"
Yeah.
She doesn't have to do that now. Normally the question is, what will we eat this evening? Run out of things to cook, right? Run out of ideas.
Yeah. Having to get really creative at the moment, aren't we, in lockdown?
But that's good because, I can have dinner with the kids. It's nice.
Yeah.
Nice. But it's like anyone else, people paint this kind of macho image of like, yeah, I do it like this or I do it like that. And I have all those feelings like everyone else. I have fear, anxiety, I have, I'm happy some days, I'm not so happy other days. I had a bit of a crap day yesterday.
Yeah.
You know what? I kind of manage it,
Just through those like small habits.
I think it's just that 1% every day, isn't it? Just keep doing that every day. And I think it's so important.
Yeah.
And it's really good for my well-being.
Yeah.
It just kind of fills me with kind of energy.
Yeah.
Running has been another salvation of mine. I've always played sports,
Okay.
but I discovered running a few years back because my wife was like, "Shall we go running?" Because she was a really good runner, and
Right.
she goes out and does stuff, and she got me into it. And the
Yeah.
first few weeks, I was just complaining like a dog, feet hurting. Wasn't the thing that I was
Yeah.
into cricket and football and kind of more explosive stuff.
Yeah.
Bit of boxing here and there. And yeah, she got me into it, and then it's like the most addictive thing ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really, I mean, I've been running for a while. I've been a little bit at the habit, so I've been getting back into it. But I find that it really helps to process what's going on in your mind. Do you know what I mean? The clarity
Yeah.
that you get after a run is incredible.
I used to do it with music, so she bought me some lovely Bose earphones and stuff, and
Yeah.
we used to do music for a bit.
Well,
And I read somewhere actually, it's good because it gets you into it.
yeah.
It can take your mind off it, but actually, if you really want to control your thoughts, just
Yeah.
take that out and don't listen to music, and then kind of just let your mind wander and drift.
Yeah.
And it's yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, and I like the idea about documenting in between, because I guess that's almost a bit like journaling, isn't it? Just get it out of your mind, get your mind, let your mind work through stuff,
Yeah,
and then you can be in a more positive mindset.
and a lot more reading as well. It's
Well,
really
well,
good
look,
because the thoughts start popping into your mind. They
yeah,
kind of influence you without you even knowing.
yeah,
I have this saying that reading puts layers of data in your data bank to call upon when you least expect it,
right.
because your mind does take it in.
Hmm.
It's like that film Limitless, where kind of Bradley Cooper takes the tablet and
Yeah,
everything that he's ever read and learned comes back.
yeah, yeah,
Every now and again, you shock yourself thinking, where did that come from?
yeah,
Where did that thought come from, or where did that bit of knowledge come from? It's obviously there somewhere, isn't it?
yeah,
And running brings that to the fore. It's
yeah,
just sometimes when I've thought of it, by the time I've paused at my certain spot, it's kind of the thought's gone.
yeah.
So I have to pull it back.
Well, that's interesting, because I know you're into reading, and my next question actually was going to be about reading, because I
Yeah.
know, I mean, and I'm massively into books. So what book are you reading right now? What are
So
you?
at the moment, I'll let you into a little secret. I try to read before I go to bed,
Okay.
but because I'm so tired, sometimes I'm on the same bloody page for like 3 days because I've fallen asleep.
It's good for insomnia, isn't it, reading? Yeah.
Still on the same page. So at the moment, I'm like kind of making a sluggish way through Shoe Dog.
I love Shoe Dog.
Brilliant book.
Absolutely love it. Yeah. I just
Mm.
love it.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just so good the way he's founded Nike and
Yeah.
stuff. So it's
Yeah.
yes, I'm reading that.
Good, good, good.
Yeah. I've
Um,
got so many books on the side of my bed. I
yeah,
need to
well,
go.
how many books? So there's that saying, isn't there, that CEOs read, average 40. How many books do you get through roughly a month or a year?
Not many.
Okay.
Not many.
Okay. Well, and what are your favorite three books, or the book that's had the biggest impact on you? What would you say if you could pick one?
Danny, the Champion of the World,
Okay. I've not read that, but I have heard lots of good things about
from
it.
Roald Dahl.
Yeah, yeah,
Best
yeah.
book ever.
Okay. God, and that just rolled off then. That's clearly your
Amazing.
favorite. Yeah.
My kids have read it. It's just amazing. It just conjures up so many nice feelings about the relationship between a son and a father. And
Yeah.
he was a bit of a thief in it, but
Yeah. Ignore that bit.
you know that bit. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's just a great book, and I think Shoe Dogs are lovely. It's a
Brilliant.
brilliant book. It's a
Yeah,
brilliant
I mean,
book.
I love books, and I like, kind of business and management books, but I really love business books when it's just somebody telling their story.
Yeah,
Because you still get the lessons, but you get
yeah,
all of the, as you say, the personality, the mistakes, everything. Do you know what I mean? All in one.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Just fascinated by words.
yeah. Well, going on to my next question is, so one of the things that we often talk about in business nowadays, don't we? We say, oh, we must meet for coffee. In fact, I think we said that one. We must meet for coffee. So if you could grab coffee with any public figure, or any celebrity, famous person, whatever, alive or dead, who would it
Oh,
be?
good question. Very good question, isn't
Who would you love to grab coffee with?
it? Alive or dead?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a bit of a difficult one, really, but so many.
I know, I know. Pick
So
one.
I'm going to
Pick
use the cliche, you know. I'm going to say someone like Muhammad Ali, you know. You know,
one. That's fine.
everyone say that.
You could have been. You could have picked Biggie. You could have picked Biggie Smalls. You know, somebody. But Muhammad Ali. Okay.
Or Easy E,
Easy E.
yeah,
Okay. Okay.
fascinating character.
Interesting. Okay, so one of the things I want to talk about. So people sometimes see you from a distance, you know, on social media, and they look at you, and you've achieved all these things, and they think, wow, you know, really successful businessman. You know, do you ever have those fears? We've talked about the fact that you have the fears and the self-doubt. How do you push through that? So how do you push beyond, you know, the imposter syndrome, the feelings of, you know, am I good enough? You know, all these people have done so many amazing things. How do you get through that?
Oh, um, how do you get through it? I don't think it ever leaves you.
Hmm.
I think you manage it.
Yeah.
But I've trained myself. I was riddled with fear. I
Hmm.
mean, a lot of my life, I was held back with the notion of fear, and it goes back to um, conditioning my parents gave me.
Right. Okay.
Bless them. You know, it's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Um, it was all about, if you don't do this, you'll be a failure. If you don't do that, you'll be a failure. If you don't do that, you'll be sweeping the roads. So it was always driven by the fear of failure.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
driven by the fear of failure. So I never really enjoyed when I achieved anything because
Okay.
it was always on to the next thing.
Yeah.
And I think as a person, you do need that little bit of paranoia, a
Hmm.
little bit of failure, a
Yeah.
little bit of kind of anxiety,
Hmm.
because that helps to drive you.
Yeah.
When I used to achieve something, I never enjoyed it.
Right.
Never enjoyed it. Um, and actually, in 2010, when I kind of nearly lost everything,
Yeah.
it became a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Right.
Situation thinking, um, well, you know, nothing's going to come of it. We're not going to get the deal. We're not going to do this. We're not going to do that. Became a very negative. Became in a very negative space. And actually, I recognise that it's important to, like I said, check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Yeah.
It's important to understand
Yeah.
that people think they're just lyrics, but actually they're really, really, really deep lyrics. Then from you know, from the great, from one of the greats. So yeah. So I engaged with a chap who was a hostage negotiator
Okay.
for the police, and then he'd left the police to help people in sport. That mindset. And I said to him, "Call Mark Sheesby, great guy."
Hmm.
Um, and Mark, I never believed in this. He kind of
Yeah.
hypnotherapy on me. I was like,
Right.
whatever. He'd been a cynic and all that. And he he took me under. I didn't tell him. He said, "Look, you've spent a lot of your life moving, or sorry, trying to get away from the fear of failure."
Yeah.
Yeah. He said, "We need to just adjust your view to going towards the joy of achievement." And literally, it is the eye of a needle. The switch is the eye of a needle. It's like
Yeah. Yeah.
literally that much.
Right.
Still there, that fear of failure, because it's part of your DNA. It's part of it. But now, particularly with the habits and the routine that I have,
Hmm.
honestly, I take everything in my stride.
Yeah.
This thing that's happening right around us, this coronavirus thing.
Yeah.
I'd much be where I am right now than where I was last year,
Right.
because last year was a very difficult time for us,
Yeah.
family. So, and I'm loving it.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely loving it.
Yeah.
I'm being productive. I'm doing stuff around the family.
Yeah.
I'm doing stuff on my own time. So I think that those routines are really important for
Yeah.
me personally to push through some of those stuff. And I know when I've not been for a run for a day, or I've had some really nice food and
Yeah.
I've been overindulging,
Hmm.
it's okay to do that every once in a while. You got to be real about these things.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I know I can feel it. I can feel the negative vibes coming back in.
Right.
At that point, I know. check yourself before you wreck yourself.
That's going to be the strap line for this video, I think.
You've
Check
got to be mindful of your thoughts, haven't you? You've got to really kind of understand what's going on in your head, and I really kind of spend a lot of time doing that.
Yeah, yeah,
Feeling like this,
yeah.
you know?
That check yourself. It's interesting because one of the other things you said at the round table that stuck with me were around ego.
Oh my God.
Because I was, at the time, I think I was reading Eckhart Tolle as well. Eckhart
Yeah,
Tolle,
I think,
New Earth on Ego. Just give me some of your thoughts on ego and how we can keep that in check.
well, ego's, I mean, for me, ego is all about, it's driven from insecurity, isn't it? It drives you away from your core being as a person.
Yeah.
No, if you look at the core being of a person, and
Yeah.
if you know, if that's the center of you,
Yeah.
surround yourself with excuses. You surround yourself with external things.
Mm.
You surround yourself with bravado.
Yeah.
And ego is one of those things, those shells that you surround yourself with. And I'm on this constant journey of kind of stripping that away. Sometimes it gets in the way.
Yeah.
To strip it away. Well, actually, you know, why did I make that decision? Why did I do things the way that I do? Why did I say those things? Why did I act the way in which I did? And I think the more and more you get to the core of who you are,
Mm-hmm.
the happier you become. People talk about success.
Yeah.
Success is relative.
Yeah.
You know, to one person, getting £100 a week is success.
Yeah.
To another person, getting £1,000 a week is success.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, and we always mistake success with happiness. You know, you're going to be successful and you're going to be happy. Well, actually, we should be driving for happiness.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, drive more for that rather than,
Yeah.
because people equate, you know, you can have loads of money in the bank and you'll be successful.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, you know, it does make a difference. Of course, it does. And I've been on that treadmill as well.
Yeah.
But you know, you've got to strive for happiness.
Yeah. Yeah. We're very fixated, aren't we, at the moment on kind of these very traditional Western versions of success. I mean, I hope I think it's changing, and I hope it's changing. And even as a result of what's going on now, I think people will start to reevaluate it.
Yeah, and I think, you know, we're always quick to jump on the trends and the things that are happening right now, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, we all get sucked into it from time to time. You know, we're getting sucked into kind of, you know, doing Zooms and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everyone's doing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that kind of growing up, we were, as a family, we were always slightly a bit different to the rest of the community, and I've always looked at it like that, and I've always felt a little bit like that, a bit of an outsider.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe that's it's probably another self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah.
Um,
And of course, there's nothing wrong with that. Do it, go in your own way, you know.
Yeah, and you know, one of the things that, you know, kind of you know, things I've been talking about just recently is observe the masses and do exactly the opposite.
Right.
Particularly in our business, you know, it's kind of everyone's doing that. They're pushing back on and holding back on marketing. That they're not spending money on it. And I've said no, we're not going to do that. Push more into it.
Yeah.
Let's push more into it and do what everyone else is not doing.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah. 100%.
And just help people, you know, and help people through this challenge.
Yeah.
You know, and the first thing I said was, you know, particularly around our business values. Our business values are brave, bold, and empathetic. We need to live them right now.
Yeah.
Really kind of grab hold of them, and that's what's going to make us different.
Yeah.
For anyone, for everyone, and just do what's right for people. You know, do the right thing.
Yeah.
And we said we're not going to furlough anyone. You know.
Brilliant.
We're not going to furlough anyone. We're just going to continue as we're doing.
Yeah.
We can't. We can't. In fact, we can't furlough anyone because we've got projects on, and they're all integral to the project. So we can't do it. But coming back to your point of ego, it's a destructive thing.
It is. I mean, I think your t-shirt is exactly right for ego. You've got to keep it in check. You know, you've got to be aware of it for 100% because it will totally derail you.
It can derail you, can't it?
Yeah.
And it nearly derailed me yesterday. You know, got into a situation where backwards and forwards.
Okay.
And in the end, I was like, just ignore it.
Yeah.
Let it go to sleep, wake up in the morning and sort it. And I feel a lot better for it.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Final question then. What advice would you give to, I would say your younger self, but, you know, basically somebody in your situation, you know, who's maybe young, up and coming, trying to get ahead in life, maybe sometimes feels like they're, you know, the only one of their kind in the room, you know, they feel as though there's a lot of challenges. What advice would you give to them?
Um, is what my dad told me.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be the average of the 5 people that you're going to hang around with. Yeah. If you really want to get to where you need to get to,
Yeah.
yeah, it's probably a few bits of advice.
Yeah.
It takes ages.
Yeah.
You know, it's not overnight.
Yeah.
And just be around those people that are going to help you get to where you need to get to.
Right.
It's so important.
Yeah.
Because it brushes off, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Mindset brushes off. But, and the last one is always play the game with people that are better than you. Not better people,
Yeah.
better than you, made more experience, further on in life.
Yeah.
Always play the game. And you know, in sport, I've always done that.
Right.
I've always done that. And I'll give you a couple of examples just before we sign off. When I've played cricket, I played cricket at a very high level.
Mm-hmm.
And it upped my game. I had to get better.
Yeah.
Up my ability. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone's got ability. It's just where you play it. So now I play in quite a lower league.
Okay.
My level has gone to that, you know, to
Yeah.
that level.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
disrespect to anyone.
Yeah.
No disrespect to any of the guys that I play with. It's great. I love it. I love it, and I enjoy it. But actually, where you play, where you hang out, that's the level that you'll reach.
Yeah. That's so true. And I mean, it's a lot. It's something that a lot of, you know, successful people sort of say about, you know, about being really careful, you know, who you surround yourself with.
Yeah,
It's so important, isn't it?
it's so important. It's so important, you know. And it's not being kind of Machiavellian about it. It's
Yeah.
just you're doing what's right for you.
Yeah.
And I kind of, like I said, you know, through my life, I've always kind of strive for better and better and better, not more and more and more,
Yeah.
which it was a few years back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now it's better and
Yeah.
better and better.
Yeah.
Seek, you know, fulfillment and happiness. That's the ultimate goal of it.
Absolutely.
Human, right? I
Absolutely.
think. Hopefully. I mean, I get it wrong, but
No, that is perfect. That is perfect. So I think we're almost out of time, Kaz. So it just
thank you so
probably
much.
needs to say, yeah, thank you so much for doing this.
You're welcome.
You know, the hope behind this really is that people really kind of get inspired by the stories that they hear, and also, you know, particularly for people that maybe come from a background where they don't see as many people, you know, kind of doing amazing things and kind of,
Mm,
you know, achieving the dreams that they want to. It's just to remind people that it's possible if you've got the right mindset.
I think so.
Absolutely. So thanks very much, Kaz.
Okay.
Thank you.